Have to worry about her again.
You gave her the money, right?
Didn't have to.
No, no, no.
What the fuck is that?
Check. Just...
The movie begins with an elderly woman named Judy who is sick and at home. Her nurse, Grace, is taking care of her. Suddenly, Judy stands on a chair to reach a game on the top of a cabinet. But as soon as she comes down, she feels dizzy and falls into a coma. Grace takes her to the hospital and calls her children, Megan and Noah, to inform them about what happened. We learn that Megan and Noah live far away and occasionally come to pay Grace's salary and check on Judy. During this time, Diego, Megan's husband, tells them that the doctor said Judy's condition is serious and she will need to stay in the hospital for a while. Since this will be costly, Noah suggests selling Judy's house, but Megan refuses and says she will cover all the expenses, even though her financial situation is not good. Megan then asks Diego to take their children home because one of them has diabetes, and their treatment appointment is approaching. Afterward, Megan and Noah head to Judy's house. On the way, Noah tells Megan that he worked in New York as a writer, but all his stories failed, and he is in debt. He surprises her by saying that he was hoping Judy would die so he could get his share of the inheritance and leave quickly. Megan is shocked by Noah's words, but she understands that his financial situation is difficult. They then arrive at the house and go into the basement where Judy usually sits to clean it up. But at that moment, they find the water pipes crushed, flooding the basement to the extent that the walls are damp from the water. During that time, Megan discovers a crumbling wall due to the moisture and decides to peel it back, but she is shocked when she finds a body buried behind it. The surprise is that this body belongs to their neighbor, Patty, who was Judy's friend. At that moment, Megan and Noah realize that their parents killed Patty 30 years ago, and they are shocked because Judy always used to let them play in the basement and warned them to tell her if they smelled something strange. During that time, Megan and Noah decide to leave the body in the basement until they figure out what to do. However, that day is difficult for them, and they cannot sleep due to anxiety and tension. Therefore, the next day, Megan decides that they should throw the body into any swamp far from the house. Indeed, Megan and Noah put the body in the car in the dead of night and throw it into an abandoned swamp far from the house, a place no one has visited in years. However, the shock comes when the next morning, Megan hears on the radio that the police have found the body. Megan panics and calls Noah, and they immediately go to the hospital, thinking that the police still do not know whose body it is. But they are shocked when they find a police officer named Zay in their mother's room, who tells them that the police have found Patty's body. She has come to ask Judy if she remembers anything regarding Patty's death, but Judy's words are unclear due to her illness, and no one can communicate with her except Grace. At that time, Grace hears Judy say that she does not remember anything, so Grace thanks them and asks them to inform her if Judy recovers and remembers anything about Patty. After that, Megan and Noah decide to go to Judy's house to clean the basement. But the problem arises because when Megan and Noah enter the house, they find Grace waiting for them and is surprised to learn that Judy told her that she and her husband killed Patty. Grace informs them that she hid this from Zay to protect the family's reputation, but in return, she demands $10,000. At that moment, Megan and Noah are shocked by the amount since they don't have any money at all. However, they are forced to agree to Grace's request to protect their mother. Indeed, that same night, Megan prepares the amount. But despite this, they are worried that Grace will come back to blackmail them once she gets the money. Therefore, Noah suggests that he goes to Bodie, their criminal cousin, to ask him to deliver the money to Grace himself and scare her off so she won't threaten them again. Although Megan is afraid of Bodie getting involved, Noah convinces her by scaring her with the idea of losing their family if Grace reveals the family secret and reports to the police. The next day, Noah goes to Buddy's house, and Buddy is surprised because Noah hasn't asked about him in a long time. At that moment, Noah decides to tell Buddy everything and asks him to deliver the money bag to Grace and intimidate her. Indeed, Buddy agrees and takes the money from them to meet Grace at the restaurant she had agreed upon. However, instead of handing over the money to Grace, Buddy chooses to threaten her, saying he will take her out if she reports to the police. He takes the money back and returns it to Megan and Noah, but Grace gets angry and upset about what Buddy did to her. That night, she takes a big man named Tishon and goes to Noah's house. Noah fears they might do something to him and sends a message to Megan to inform her. At that time, Megan is going live with her friend, selling clothes online to their customers. However, Megan continues to stay in touch with Noah in the chat, until suddenly she finds Grace responding to her, threatening her that she will call the police if she doesn't come to her within 20 minutes. Megan quickly ends the live broadcast and lies to Diego, telling him that her mother is sick, and she needs to go to the hospital immediately. She rushes to her car to reach Grace before she reports to the police, but unfortunately, Megan is delayed by 1 minute. When she arrives, she's shocked to find that Grace has already called the police, but then Megan learns that Grace reported seeing a thief moving around the house. At that moment, Noah and Megan meet the officer and tell him that they were together and saw a strange person moving around the house, but he left. The officer decides to search the house to secure them, but when Noah sees the officer entering, he tells him that he's a mess and soaked with water. After that, he apologizes to the officer for the false report to get him to leave, and he tells him that if anything suspicious happens, he will call the station immediately. Later, Grace sits with Megan and Noah and tells them that she was not pleased with the arrangement they made, so she will increase the amount to $25,000 and will collect it the next day at the railway bridge. Before she leaves, she has Tishon punch Noah hard in the stomach to punish him for what he did. But later we find out that Tishon is not actually a thug. He is Grace's husband. The next day, Megan takes out a loan and borrows money from everyone she knows, yet she can only gather more than $22,000. She takes the money and goes with Noah to meet Grace to give her the money, but Grace tells them that she won't accept the money as it is. Megan gets upset at that moment and tells Grace that she no longer has the energy to lie or to hide anything she didn't do. She asks Grace to inform the police because she has decided not to give her anything from the money. Grace mocks Megan and Noah, telling them that they always see themselves as innocent and now believe they are heroes for protecting their mother and that anyone in their place would have done the same. At that moment, Megan loses her temper and grabs Grace, pushing her to the ground and hitting her with all her might. At that time, Sean pulls Megan away from Grace, but Megan punches him in the knee. However, in the shock, Sean falls to the ground, hitting his head on a rock and losing consciousness. The disaster at that moment is that Noah has brought a gun with him and shoots Sean. When Grace tries to escape, he shoots her, and she falls off the bridge into the water. Afterward, Megan gets Noah home and is shocked that they killed 2 people to hide their mother's crime. Noah cannot believe he killed them with his own hands, and in his shock, he tells Megan that he will turn himself in and call the family lawyer to take care of it. But Megan calms him down, telling him that he killed them against his will. She informs him that if anyone else finds out what happened, they will be in trouble. To cover up the crime, she takes the gun from him and tells him to change his clothes and give them to her to dispose of. At that moment, Noah goes into the house to change his clothes, while Megan is surprised when she waits in the car for Doug, their childhood friend. The surprise is that Doug is Patty's son, which makes Megan anxious when she sees him. However, she finds him coming to greet her and Noah since they haven't seen each other in years. During this time, Megan notices that Doug has become dependent on alcohol and wants to hurt himself because he can't overcome his mother's death. Megan feels sad but can't comfort him, especially after learning that her mother killed his mother. Later, the police find Sean's body and pull Grace's body from the water. As soon as Zeal sees Grace's body, she remembers that she is Judy's nurse whom she met in the hospital. That's why she calls Megan, asking her to come with Noah to her office. At that point, Megan and Noah are forced to go to Zeal, but before they enter, Megan warns Noah to keep calm and say that he was traveling and knows nothing about Grace. Noah prefers to remain silent when Zeal asks about their relationship with Grace. Megan tells her that she arranged for Grace to care for their mother because Judy's condition is serious and requires a specialist. Megan also tries to present their relationship with Grace as good, emphasizing that Grace was loyal and trustworthy. However, Zeal notices Noah is quiet and that Megan is answering the questions, so she decides to ask Noah about Grace. Noah gets annoyed, insisting there's no evidence against them. Zeal calms him, explaining they're not suspects, just looking for any information that might lead them to the killer. Later, Megan prepares dinner for Noah, Diego, and the kids, but Diego notices she's anxious. Then Megan is surprised when Buddy knocks on the door, wanting to have dinner with them to reunite the family. Diego is annoyed by Buddy's approach and doesn't want him near the kids. Meanwhile, when Megan hears Buddy talking to the kids about her and Noah's childhood secrets, she worries he might have discovered them, so she lets Noah continue hanging out with Buddy to see if he has. On the second day, Megan meets Noah and learns from him that Buddy has been hinting a lot that he knows they killed Grace and Titian. Noah confirms to her that he knows and that they need to get rid of him. After that, Noah and Megan go to visit Buddy under the pretense of paying him a visit. At that time, Megan brings a plate of food, claiming that she would prepare it and eat it together. But she actually uses it as a pretext to ask him about the kitchen and explore the house before they deal with him. Meanwhile, Buddy takes Noah to his secret room. During this time, Noah discovers that Buddy is manufacturing replica legendary swords and weapons and selling them as originals, which is why he is hiding in a house away from people. At that moment, Buddy gives Noah a sword and asks him to spar, just like the old days. Noah takes the sword and attacks him with the intention of getting rid of him, but Buddy thinks they are just playing and dodges his strikes, knocking him to the ground. At that moment, Megan bursts in and finds Buddy with the sword pointed at Noah's face, causing her to panic. She pulls out her gun and aims it at Buddy, who then realizes that they are there to eliminate him. In a flash, Buddy punches Noah in the face, and at that moment, Noah grabs a knife and goes to look for him. But Buddy comes out of the room with a bow and arrows, aiming arrows at Noah in a fit of rage. At that moment, Megan rushes behind them and shoots Buddy in the chest, while Noah approaches from behind to stab him with the knife in his back. After that, Noah moves closer to Buddy to confirm that he is dead, but Buddy is still alive and stabs Noah with the knife in his hand. At that moment, Megan shoots Buddy again, finishing him off, and she takes the knife from Noah's hand. They then take Buddy's body and throw it into the nearest swamp before heading to the hospital to treat Noah's injury on his hand. Megan intervenes with Judy and sits with her, telling her that she discovered her crime and reassures her. She mentions that she was scared of the consequences of the crime and worried about anyone knowing about it. Megan feels that Judy was justified in killing Patty because she believes Judy caught her father cheating on her with Patty. At that moment, Judy points at Megan and confirms that she killed Patty for that specific reason. After that, they hear Zale knocking on the door and saying she learned that Judy's condition has improved. Zale tells Megan she's come to ask about Patty. Moreover, Zale mentions that Noah was in the emergency room due to a cut on his hand, which forces Megan to lie and say he hurt himself while peeling a fruit. Zale starts to suspect that Megan and Noah are involved in Grace and Titian's murders, especially since she found Judy's Rolex watch in Grace's hand. Zale's suspicion grows when she asks Megan to meet Judy. Megan rushes in to warn Judy not to say anything to Patty. During this time, Zale informs Megan that since she and Noah appeared, problems began to arise, like Patty's body surfacing and the murders of Grace and Titian. She tells her that no matter how long it takes, the criminal will be caught, even if it's been 30 years since the crime. Here, Zale is hinting to Megan that she knows Judy killed Patty and that she and Noah disposed of her body in the swamp to protect their mother. Later, Megan goes to Judy's house to warn Noah that Zale saw them, but she finds him playing PlayStation with Doug, Patty's son, in the basement. She is shocked to learn that Noah confessed everything to Doug, who overheard what they did. However, Megan decides to eliminate any evidence against them and hits Doug on the head with a hammer, killing him. She takes the body and buries it behind the wall where Patty's body was. They build a wooden wall over it. At that moment, Megan tells Noah to completely forget about the idea of traveling to New York and lets him live with Judy in the house to take care of her. She promises Noah that when Judy dies, they will renovate the basement and sell the house, allowing him to get his share of the inheritance and start a new life. As for Megan, she returns to Diego and her children, living a happy life after eliminating the threat to her family's reputation. This concludes the movie. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.